Yeah, well, I would like the Taoiseach to at least answer one question here today. On the questions I want to raise around the order of business, the Health Information and Standards Bill, the replacement for the Mobility Allowance Scheme and the Motorised Transport Grants, and the Emigration and Residency Reform Bill. So, as you'll know, Cian Collier, the Health Information and Standards Bill was part of what the last government claimed to be the cornerstone of a new health system. And the delayed HSE report for February revealed that 2,700 patients aged over 75 years spent more than 24 hours on trolleys. Yesterday, there were 321 patients on trolleys, with Our Lady of Lourdes in my own constituency among the highest. The INMO have reported that March saw 9,381 patients on trolleys, and that's an increase on last year and double the figure for March 2008. So, the Health Information and Patient Safety Bill has faced significant delays. When will it be published? The issue of the Mobility Allowance Scheme and the Motorised Transport Grants. In February 2013, the government scrapped that. And since then, I have been on my feet constantly asking when the alternative is going to be put forward. And remember now, this was scrapped on the back of a recommendation from the Ombudsman for the scope of these schemes to be widened. So rather than widen them, the government got rid of them. And the Minister for Health at that time, Kathleen Lynch, acknowledged it was because it would cost too much. So almost 4 years later, the new programme for government is again promising new legislation for a new mobility scheme to assist those with a disability on meeting their mobility costs. You failed to do it the last term, so when will this legislation be published? And in terms of the Immigration and Residency Reform Bill, that's also promised in the programme for government, and the programme for government commits to implementing the Mc Mahon report into direct provision. That was the draft programme. Then the actual programme removed that. So it's a very serious decision. The Mc Mahon report made 173 recommendations. Judge Mc Mahon described the refusal to allow asylum seekers the right to access the labour market as absolutely heartbreaking and immoral. He also urged an amnesty for those who have been here for more than 5 years. I've visited the Direct Provision Centre in Mosney several times. Some children have spent their entire lives in what is a slightly tarted-up version of long cash. No matter about the benevolent attitude of the management and so on and so forth, it is not right, it is not fair that families should be detained there for so long. So will you consider a one-off amnesty? Will you reinstate the commitment on the Mc Mahon report into the programme for government? And when will you publish the Immigration and Residency Reform Bill?
Taoiseach, and if you could clarify the last Count Corley issue.
I understand it was